You are tuned in to a Fireside Chat with Zany Mystic. Join us now on another exciting metaphysical journey. Relax, tune in, drop out, and take a seat by the fire as we explore new realms and possibilities. This is Magenta Pixie. You can find me at magentapixie.weebly.com. But now, here is Zany Mystic and guest. Enjoy the show.
Greetings and welcome to a Fireside Chat with Zany Mystic. I'm your host, Lance White. Tonight, I'm delighted to welcome a wonderful friend and returning guest, LOU BOGNON, back to the show. LOU grew up in Mozambique, where as a child she became aware of her gift of healing. She spent a good part of her childhood trying to help volunteers of the local Red Cross camp, who often had to cope with hundreds of sick rural people. Fluent in 4 major languages, she has occupied a number of important posts in the corporate world before deciding to dedicate herself to her gifts of healing and writing and spreading love around the world. Author of 5 books on spiritual teachings, she also produces and presents The Inner Voice, an inspirational radio program which is broadcast on Channel Africa via shortwave, satellite, and internet radio. You can listen at www.channelafrica.org, and you can find her website and writings at www.loubognon.com, and we'll repeat that at the end of the show. So let's welcome LOU back to the show now. Hi, LOU. How are you?
I'm fine, Lance. Thank you, and thank you again for this lovely invitation.
Oh, it's so nice to have you back. You know, I've been reading your 5 books, and they all resonate so much, and they're so inspirational.
Thank you.
It's been, I think we did our last show in January of 2010, so it's been a little while, and
yes, it has.
I thought maybe I'd ask you where Spirit's been taking you since then.
Oh, God. This indeed. You know, it is here in something that has felt like 10 years. It has been incredible. Time is just, I don't know, perhaps stretching, perhaps on occasions compressing, but it has been the most amazing ride. Since then, I've been to France, to Canada, to India, to, oh God, I don't know, I have traveled so much. And it has been wonderful experiences, wonderful learning, wonderful people. I don't know, I couldn't compress all that for you now, right. but it's been a wonderful time.
Wonderful. Well, yes, I do understand. So, and one of the things I noticed, you mentioned it just now, that since we spoke last, there's an acceleration of energies, or, as you said, a stretching out of time. Some would say that the incoming energies are higher frequencies, and that time is moving into the no-time zone, which has to do with the Mayan calendar and all the various prophecies. How do you feel about that?
Yes, it is, and you know, you can feel it in every single way, in the how would I say, in the break of rhythms that we used to take for granted, like sleeping throughout the whole night. I don't know in your hemisphere, but in the southern hemisphere where I live here, all of us, we speak about waking up spontaneously between 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. In fact, on some nights, the intensity of the energy that must be bombarded to us throughout the cosmos is so intense that all of us, you know, because I have such a big group of people with whom I relate, we share all those experiences, and I'm not alone in it, you know, feeling the heat, feeling the intensity of the Earth movement. Of course, here you could also argue that because we are surrounded by gold mines that maybe some of the movement is technical in the sense that they use implosive and explosive material, to get to the gold. But still, we have this movement almost permanently, and we hear this rumbling. It is very, very exciting. And we feel it in not just in physical ways. This is now describing it physically, but we feel it especially so at the level of our emotional body and also, of course, of our ethereal body. And like I am sure all of you also listening to us on the Northern Hemisphere, we feel and we can observe how it affects some people in very strange ways, I have perhaps watched a lot of people go off the rails altogether.
I believe that. I think we're seeing that all over the globe right now.
Yes, and I see it perhaps even more because I've got a huge client list. So they're all these days, they're all call, they're all SMS, they're all
you get
they're
them
all mail
through your front door. Well, one of the things that we both, you especially, are aware of is that the Earth or Gaia or whatever you want to say, Sophia, is a living being with many different elements and elementals and spirits which are interconnected, and we're all interconnected in this fabric. And it seems that there's been a lot of concern about the degradation to the planet. Do you see the planet as reacting or creating a new scenario given the abuse that we seem to be heaping on her?
Yes, definitely. I think our planet, I like to call her our mother, because she really sustains all of us and all other life forms, and we are dependent on her. For life, for dear life. So in a sense, she is our mother, and all the elements of the earth seem to be felt at the moment in very powerful ways, Of course, we don't need to be shown and shown again and again what is happening, but there are so many signs of her awakening, and also of whatever it is that she needs to do to cleanse herself of so much of the dirt and the pollution and the abuse that we have imposed upon the beloved mother. So we must see also, all these storms and hurricanes and tornadoes by the hundreds, like what you've seen in your part of the world, as manifestations of energy forms. The French have got a word, they use egrégoire, Those forms create energies that are explosive, they are volcanic, they are quaking energies. So all this is happening to the planet in ways that are palpable, are visible, measurable. We can see those activities increasing exponentially. But parallel to our influence, there is also, as you know, Lance, the end of cycles coming featuring into the equation. So we are reaching an end of the smaller cycle of 2,100 years, the age cycle. Then we are witnessing the end of the processional year, and perhaps other cosmic cycles of which we hardly can even measure the time, So all this is coming together at this time, and all this is having an awakening effect on every single living atom of life here. And so that will apply to the earth, and it will apply to us, and it will apply to animals, and it will apply to plants, and even to minerals, you know. Nothing is escaping it.
Good. It seems that there's almost, I know I'm saying this in a simple way, but a re-spiritualization of matter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, kind of a lifting, a refreshing, shall we say, or, you know, it goes beyond refreshing, but maybe a restoration of the connection of matter to higher energies or divine energies.
Yes, I think we are seeing also the conversion back to light of matter, because matter is only compressed light, really, or densified light. So, and we are seeing the process in reverse. That is, I think, perhaps the easiest way to explain it, you know. Yes,
that's right. And what happens to the darker elements that are currently seem to be creating havoc?
Well, you know...
Go ahead.
I don't know what happens to it, but the fact remains that that part has been part of the script for our evolution as well.
Right.
You know, we live, after all, in a dimension of polarity and duality, and so we have, up to this point, perceived light as opposed to darkness, or good as opposed to bad, or kindness as opposed to nastiness, or whatever.
Okay.
So we have lived in that sort of polarity and in that sort of duality. And sadly, a lot of us are still trapped in that almost two-dimensional perception of all of our reality. But as it evolves, and as we evolve, we actually will realize that all that was just borders and confines that we created in order to learn, in order to evolve, in order to progress. And that is basically how I see it and how I understand it, you know.
Right. It's basically the soul's journey into the various cycles or wheels of time, and then we cycle off, it seems.
Exactly. We go down into density, you know, like going down into the dark well, and then at some point we say, oof, I have to come up with it and take a breath, you know.
Yeah,
I think we are at this point, yeah.
I think we all took a big wrong turn somewhere, but anyway, I'm just kidding. So the other thing that seems to be happening lately is that people are noticing are reconnecting to their multidimensional nature. And I know you talk about this a lot in your books and about how we travel in dream time, and you've had so many experiences. Would you like to share a little bit about that element?
Yes, I would. And I'm going to share one that I had just yesterday or the day before, you know. And it was so extraordinary because I found myself, you know, like you do in dreams in the strangest of places. And I was in some sort of car or bus or some earthly means of transportation somewhere along the border of Russia and China, somewhere close to Tibet, you know. And as we drive, I hear these people speaking Russian, and I actually am thinking, what did I come here for, you know? Why would I be in a place and I just don't know anybody? And I'm thinking, and the next thing we have what seemed like a sort of a crossing over portal, and I wouldn't be able to describe to you how we ended up on the other side of the mountain or within the mountain. It seemed simultaneously that we had crossed the mountain and gone inside the mountain, you know, if it makes any sense.
Yeah.
And what I see was so extraordinary because I ended up in a plane, and this plane looked like being inside a geode of a gigantic crystal. And it was the most extraordinary experience because, you know, I love crystals so much. So here I am trying to touch everything and feel everything and identify everything. And then I kept thinking, but I don't know any of those crystals, you know? They were not amethyst, they were not quartz, they were not anything that I know, you know?
Oh.
And that's how I woke up. So I was like a little bit shortcutted into my experience, but enough to remember the beauty of having gone through this portal and actually not having